let's do another video. Why not? It's a nice day here in the Pacific Northwest. I've got everything I need done for the weekend. I'm about ready to have a nice, quiet weekend. And I bought some new stuff. The video I posted last week of my new purchases did pretty well. A lot of people seem to watch it and are still watching it, so I thought I'd post another one. I will say that there was a new Skinny Puppy release there. It seems like anytime I put Skinny Puppy in the title of a video, people watch it automatically. So it's clear what my go-to band is on this channel. It's Skinny Puppy. And I appreciate that. Who doesn't love Skinny Puppy? But there are no Skinny Puppy releases in this video. There are just other new records that are fantastic, and I thought I'd take a few minutes to talk about them. So this is the first one I'll hold up. This is an artist that's going by the name of Super Sanity. You see the label there, it's from Futurama. This is on the Toony Loons label. It's a one-sided promo. And yeah, the label's called Toony Loons. Obviously a play on Looney Tunes. And it's the parent label of that is Played By, which is a Romanian techno label. But this is noteworthy because this is a new remix of Dream On by Depeche Mode. And it's not mentioned anywhere on the release. It's just Super Sanity. I think the single has a name too. There's a label on it, Bender. I guess Bender is the name of the 12-inch by Super Sanity. This is just a remix of Dream On by Depeche Mode. And they're not just using vocal snippets either. It uses like the full Dave Gahan vocal. So if you're a Depeche Mode fan and you're a completist, and there are a lot out there, you're going to want to check this out. It's an excellent remix too. I'd argue it's better than any of the original remixes. The original remixes had remixes from like Bushwacka and Octagon Man. Who was the other guy? Was it Dave Clark? Yeah, Dave Clark. I thought the Bushwacka mixes were pretty good. And Octagon Man mixes were pretty good. I like this one better. All of these Toony Loon labels too, they have different cartoon characters. Like there's one with Pepe Le Pew, there's one with Foghorn Leghorn. And they don't name the artists, but they're all Romanian techno artists, from what I understand. So, yeah, if you're a Depeche Mode fan, you want to check this out. And this is like a nice, long, groovy techno mix, like a good 13-minute mix. Depeche Mode, y'all. I know you guys like them. I certainly do. This is something that's been out for a couple of months. This is DJ Python. Boring generic sleeve. But apparently this is a really great record. I haven't even heard this. I picked it up because of this. This just came out this week. These are Ricardo Villalobos remixes of this. And apparently Villalobos does like his typical minimal techno thing. But I was listening to the snippets of this, and this is one of those remixes where Villalobos just brings it, man. And he delivers like a 40-minute mix on here. A couple of really long, extremely long remixes. And we know what Ricardo Villalobos does. He doesn't try to hide what he does. He just does what he does, and we love him. But sometimes I don't buy everything he does. I think it's hit and miss with him, very much so. I mean, he never makes music that's super bad, but he does minimal techno. He doesn't apologize for it. He does that sound every time. It's what he does. But every once in a while, he really hits, man. He finds a groove and a rhythm and a beat that's just awesome, and that is happening on this. So I bought this. Didn't know this was released, and I like DJ Python, but I missed this. This came out earlier in the year. So I figured if I'm going to get this, I might as well get this. So I'm looking forward to hearing this. I'm already really enjoying that. And long live Ricardo. People complain that he does the same thing over and over. So what? He never claimed to be anything else. He's a techno guy. This is the new Fortet single. He's going under his real name here, Kieran Hebden, who's a really nice guy, by the way. I know him very loosely. He's a super nice guy. Great taste in music. Very funny. He's recording with William Tyler. I don't know who that is. But I generally pick up a lot of stuff from Fortet. I think he's super talented. I don't love everything he does, but his stuff recently, particularly in the last decade, he's just focused on techno music, and he does it really well. His early stuff I'm not so much into. I'm not into completely. His first couple of albums are okay, but then yeah, he started just doing techno music about a decade ago, and love it. Now this in another video last week, I did a Meat Beat video last week, and I was talking about Meat Beat's album Autoimmune and how it was dubsteppy, lots of dubstep influences. And I dropped the name Shackleton as someone that you should check out. And then just by fortuitous timing, Shackleton has a new release this week. I had no idea it was coming out. I was scouring the new releases the other day. I just got all these records the other day, and I've been listening to them a lot. And this is the new Flesh in the Dream album. Look at this cover. I mean, sorry for the glare. Choose Mortality is the name of the album. But look at this cover. Talk about an arresting cover. I mean, wow. And I was just talking about Shackleton. Shackleton, his music of the last decade, it's hard to describe, man. His music sounds like this cover looks. I mean, you can't describe it. It's very intense, very abrasive, very aggressive, in your face, daring you to challenge it. It dares you to understand what it's doing. But look at this cover. Yeah. I saw this cover and I realized it was Shackleton, and it was like, okay, I'm on board. Like that's a cover you don't forget. And for you sensitive snowflakes out there who want to cry that this is misogynistic or this is a sexist cover, this is a painting done by a woman. Her name actually is, I want to give her a shout out because this is an awesome cover, Chloe Grove. Chloe Grove. And this isn't just Shackleton. There is a singer on this record, and that singer's name is Heather Leigh. I'm sorry, I don't know how to say that. It's Leigh. That could go either way, Lee or Lay. This is really good, man. Shackleton hasn't been doing a lot of beats. Like in his early stuff, most of his music was very beat oriented, lots of beats, lots of rhythms, lots of bass. But his stuff of the last decade is just very tribal, very ambient, very strange, lots of spoken word stuff, lots of poetry. It's kind of what's going on here. There's Shackleton right there. A rare photo of him. He doesn't really do interviews. Not a lot of photos of him out there. And then this is Heather Leigh. Very nice. Listen, when you have records that look like this, it's already worth every penny as far as I'm concerned. You don't even need to listen to the music when you've got artistry like this and people who look like this. I'm on board. That's all I have to say. Manipulation complete. You guys have manipulated me fully. I am absolutely 100% keenly interested in the music now. You want to get people listening to your records, you do stuff like this. But yeah, look at that label. I mean, come on. Heather Leigh, I think I'm in love with you already. And this is a great album, too. I was listening to it, and like I mentioned before, you can't describe this. The music's so strange. So I like that with art. You're getting fully manipulated by this kind of stuff. And you're already in that realm. You're like, okay, I want to hear the music now. Like my mind is over here now. It was over here, now it's over here. Let's hear what you have to say. And the music does not disappoint. It's hard to describe. It's electronic. There are more drums in this release than Shackleton has been releasing lately. And it's good. I think Shackleton should be doing more bass and drum music. I wouldn't say it's dancey. It's definitely not dancey, but it's very abrasive, very aggressive, very in your face with some really nice vocals. Some very sexy vocal work going on here. And I'm definitely going to look into this Heather Lay. I don't know anything about her. I've never heard anything about her, never heard her. I don't know anything. But I'm definitely checking it out now. The power of art, man. It works in all kinds of different directions. This is a record I wasn't planning on getting. I never heard of the guy until a few days ago. I bought this record and I really enjoy it. This is on the Stones Throw, right? Stones Throw? Yeah, Stones Throw label. John Carroll Kirby, Blowout. And Stones Throw is known for their hip hop stuff, lots of hip hop music, but just it's generally an electronic label, lots of different electronics going on. I really like this album. Nice gatefold sleeve, cool artwork. Got some just generic black inner sleeves. Here's the label. It's hard to describe. I mean, it is down tempo. I wouldn't really call it hip hop though. It's got a lot going on. It's got ambient tones. It's got hip hop tones, jazz tones, Balearic tones. All that stuff mixed together and all mashed up. Very impressive. I'd never heard of this artist until this week, but I picked this up and I'm really enjoying this album. I would highly recommend picking that one up. This was a no-brainer purchase. This is Thomas Melchior. I've never known how to say his name. I don't really care. Thomas Melchior. You techno heads out there, you know Melchior. He's a legend in the minimal techno community. He's produced records with Baby Ford over the years as Soul Capsule. He had a project in the early 90s called Vulva that was on Reflex that was just acid techno. He's just a master producer of electronic dance music. And he's been doing this minimal techno groove stuff for a long time, and he is a master at it. He's one of those guys, when I see his name on something, I pick it up. I don't even need to hear it. He just put out a record. He has a remix on a record that just came out. The artist is called Stekke, Stekke. I should have held that up. I didn't think about that. I've had it for a few weeks now. Does a fantastic remix on that. If you see his name on it, it's worth it. Don't bother even listening to it. If you like techno music, you probably already know this guy, but if you don't, you need to know him. Anyway, this is his new release. Which has Dame ears on this, the one. Nice gatefold sleeve. Some artwork here. Nice release, nice packaging. A lot of on the Disdat label. Most Melchior releases have just generic sleeves, but this is a nice package. Might be the nicest packaging of any record he's ever done that I've seen. And they're all versions of the one you get on here. Versions of the same. You get the one original, the one instrumental, the one space appella, the one expansions, the one deep south, the one love. Very soulful house music, soulful techno music, soul music. This guy is a master producer of techno, and you need to know his name, even if you can't pronounce it like me. This is Laurence Guy's new album. Any Laurence Guy fans out there? You should be. This dude's been around for about a decade. He is routinely putting out top shelf house music. Very groovy, catchy. He's a master at just capturing very minimal vocal samples and then looping it and distorting them, which is common, but he does it in a really fresh way. And on top of that, he's just a master house producer. He's put out a few records that are more experimental techno, but for the most part, he's been a house producer. His records are fantastic. He's like Thomas Melchior. If Laurence Guy puts out a record, I usually just buy it. I don't think about it, I just pick it up. Really good stuff. I'm really liking this album. His last couple of singles, I felt like he's kind of been getting a bit derivative. They all kind of sound samey. But then this album's very different. It's a double album, 4 tracks on each side. Songs are kind of short, but there's all kinds of stuff going on this album. There's the house stuff. each side seems to represent something slightly different. There's like a house side and there's an ambient side. This side 3 is more of a hip hop side. He brings in some rappers. You're getting it all here. Ambient, house, hip hop, down tempo, abstract, experimental. I'm really digging this album. I wasn't sure what to think about it because, like I said, his last couple of singles have sounded a bit samey to me, but he brings it on this one. I'm not quite sure what to think of this record yet, and that's a good thing. It's not what I expected. I'll put it that way. I thought it was just going to be another double album of house music with vocal samples, but it is that. There are a few songs like that, but there's a lot of different styles going on. And I'm not sure if it flows well, but that can be a good thing. I'm liking it. It's different. He's not repeating himself, and that's always good. Here's one of the inner sleeves. The other one's green. This one's yellow. I think this was on, yeah, this is on clear wax. There's a label. If you like house music, deep house music, not divas wailing radio top 40 house music. If you like house music that goes a little deeper, bordering on soul music or is soul music, check out Laurence Guy. Laurence Guy. This is his second album. He has a string of 12 inches out there. He mainly has 12 inches. This is just his second full length. His first full length is awesome. Awesome. This is nothing like it. He's changing up his sound, man. I think that's good. You need to do that. You need to keep it fresh. All right. This last album I'm going to talk about in this video. Oh my goodness. My album of the year. Just last year, or last week, I was talking about how ASC, his album, was my album of the year. I have a new album of the year. The new PJ Harvey album. PJ Harvey. Do I need to explain this woman to you? I certainly hope not. I plan on doing a PJ Harvey video at some point. This is her new album. There she is. Looking as beautiful as ever. PJ fucking Harvey. And her usual producers and performers are back. It's her with John Parrish and Flood. The mighty Flood. This is a beautiful record. This has been on repeat for 2 days now. I cannot stop listening to it. I love PJ Harvey, but some of her albums I'll listen to once and then I won't return to it for another couple weeks. And then she has her albums where you hear it and you can't stop listening to it. You're just listening to nothing but. And that is this. This album is called I Inside the Old Year Dying. I had to read that again because that's a complicated title. Love this record. This is Flood's producing it. Does Flood ever do anything that's not interesting? No, he doesn't. And John Parrish is here as well. This is sort of reminiscent of her White Chalk album. It's very ambient. It's very moody. It's not a hard rocking album. But White Chalk's one of my favorite albums from her. It's not as big and bombastic and jangly as albums like Stories from the City, Stories from the Sea, or Let England Shake. Those are my two favorite PJ Harvey albums, but this one's already dancing with those two in terms of my favorite. This is incredible. Very spooky, very personal, very claustrophobic. This is a great album. PJ Harvey, y'all. A broad's broad, okay? There are immature girls out there who make, and then there are real women like PJ Harvey. A broad's broad. A real woman who's lived life, who knows how to write lyrics, who knows how to rock her ass off, who knows how to write incredibly awesome songs. PJ fucking Harvey. Here's the gatefold. Get some pictures of her with her team in the studio. Very nice presentation here. Here's the inner sleeve. I'll show you the label off to you. Here's the label. Sorry for the glare. Phenomenal. And I've only heard this a couple of times. I plan on listening to this many more times, but this is one of those PJ Harvey albums that just leaves you weak in the knees. I felt this way when I heard To Bring You My Love. I felt this way when I listened to Stories from the City, Stories from the Sea. And I felt this way when I heard Let England Shake. And I still feel that way when I hear those albums, and I'm feeling that way with this one. She is back on top and on fire. PJ Harvey, one of our great artists. One of the greatest artists of the last 40 years, in my humble opinion. She does not put out bad music. And this is her new album, and you need to pick it up. All right, I'm gonna shut up now. Those are my new pickups this week. Some exciting stuff there. I highly recommend that all of you pick them up and listen to them in their entirety. But until next time, thanks for watching.